If you are sitting there without a fantasy football championship ring, hit the subscribe button. Let us help you. Help us help you. What do you have to lose? It's what we're here for. It's what we do the homework for you guys. Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Channel. Kyle, how the heck you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Mr. Nashville? We're talking about your home team right now today.
I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm not a Titans fan, but I am in Nashville. Been here for quite a few years. We got the new Nissan Stadium in the background. It's coming in 2027. It's going to be beautiful. I've been watching them build it for years.
Gotcha.
Since Nashville is my current city, we are going to start today with a couple hidden gems for you guys, okay, in terms of bars and areas in the neighborhood. Of course, there's Broadway packed with country music and all the people, but the real gems, I'll tell you right here, right now, starts with Bourbon Street Jazz and Blues Bar and Printers Alley, my all-time favorite place to be. They have jazz. Get your dancing shoes on. It is the best. Do you want an under the radar rooftop, you say? Go to Tall Tales in East Nashville. They got greenery, shrubbery, great drinks on the patio and rooftop, and even better view of the downtown Nashville city. And no one really knows about it, so it's beautiful. Do you prefer, Kyle, a patio with a turfed-in patio? A Germantown, Then you head on over to Sonny's Patio, okay? Shout out Sonny's. Shout out to my kickball team. We got absolutely destroyed 2 nights ago, but damn it, we had fun. Shout out Loose Lips. Kyle, when you were here, where did we go in Nashville?
Well, from what I can remember, we did go to DraftKings for sure. We went to the Putt Shack.
Yes,
There
we
was
did.
some good times there. DraftKings was great. They have like the nicest beer pong table I've ever seen set up in the middle of their
Yep.
skinny long bar. And I know we did destroy some nachos when we were there, of course.
Ooh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Those were delicious. I
Yeah,
love it.
but the indoor putt is definitely dangerous to be walking around just
Dangerous. You were the only danger in that
serve.
putt shack. You had 3 vodka energy drinks in each of our hands, and we're
Oh
holding our
boy.
putters. That was a fun little disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
That was good.
Okay,
Alrighty, folks.
let's
If you're
start
down,
talking about this team. Why don't you give us the team
Mhm.
overview? Titans last year, they any good or not? I'll get into the fantasy players and the coaching a little bit later on. Start us off.
Yeah, they finished last year 3-14 in the AFC South. Pretty pitiful. They are still rebuilding, but they got a new team coming, and down the road here, 2027. I think they're going to be real good. Not this year, but next year when they get the new stadium. Total offense for the Titans last year, 31st, 259 yards per game, 28 touchdowns, second only to the Raiders, 32nd overall. Rush rank 30th, 93 yards per game, not good. Pass rank 30th, 166 yards per game, not good. Vegas win-loss 6.5. I am taking the under on this one because I think the Titans need to tank one more year, get one more nice draft pick, and then enter into that stadium with just a bunch of young souls ready to play some football. Kyle, what you got on that over-under?
Hmm. I want to take the over for the coaching and the players that they brought in and for like the underdog bounce here. But this is a tough division. You have Jacksonville, Houston, and the Colts. So I think I also have to take the under. So I'd probably put them at 6 wins.
Yeah, I mean, Jaguars and Texans, 2 of the best defenses in the NFL. It's kind of tough to escape away with a win with that, and the Colts with Danny Dimes are pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready to get into the fantasy football players?
Let's do it. Lead them.
First time doing that line of yours. It's better with you for sure. Quarterback Cam Ward out of Miami finished as QB 22nd last year, projected to be QB 23. When I hear that, I immediately think there's a little bit of value here because he finished as 22. Why are you projecting him worse than last year? Last year, the dude had no offensive line, no wide receiver weapons, minimal coaching staff to help him. And what they fixed out of all that, they fixed weapons. He now has a lot of them. He's going into his sophomore year, and I expect him to improve mightily this year and really be ready for that 2027 season, which I think he's going to break out and be top 10 next year. Kyle, what you got?
Yeah, obviously you'll talk about the offensive line, but he had a very bad offensive line last year.
55 sacks, you guys. That's not his fault.
Yeah. And, Ridley went down around him. So his best option was basically DK. And it was uphill all year for him. And, considering, like, honestly, that could have been worse for him, considering what he had. So I like this for just maybe a little bit of upside. Where he's
Okay.
going is you have Malik, Jordan Love, Cam Ward, and then Stroud, Darnold, and Bryce Young is where he's projected in between.
Yep.
And I just can't take him over Love or Malik
Correct.
or
Not this year.
Baker.
Correct.
So I mean, was where he is here. Most obviously one quarterback leagues, he'll be available. Um,
Mhm.
Superflex two quarterback. I think he is quarterback two with maybe some, I would say, slight upside if everything goes well with the coaches and the things that have been brought in.
Slight
Is kind of
upside.
how I look at that. You?
Yeah. In terms of the quarterbacks in front of him, I agree with you. Love, Willis, Baker, no, and anyone in front of him, they're going in front of him for a reason. After him, I do like Ward in front of who's behind him, Stroud, Darnold, and Young. I might take Sam Darnold in front of Cam Ward, just due to a little bit more veteran, a little bit more consistent. Outside of that, this dude's got one more year to deal with some crap. However, he's got a ton of new weapons on his team, and that is that slight upside that you mentioned. And if you don't got anything else on that, we can switch into the divas here. I know you got to pop out.
Yeah, I mean, I even like some of the guys that are going after him. We'll have to hash out our final ranking, so I can't
Yeah.
get too jazzed about him yet.
So
But
who's the one? So I
I
got Sam Darnold. Who else after him? You got one that you want to go in front of him? That's after him. Mine would be
I
Sam
mean,
Darnold on that.
I don't hate Stroud,
Okay.
honestly, for a bit of a bounce. And then Bryce Young for a
Sure.
little bit of upside. And then for sure him over Mendoza,
Yeah.
Gino
Yeah. Yeah.
next. But
Yeah.
those other
Absolutely.
three, I mean, I can make a case any one way or another for those guys.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
Absolutely.
let's start talking divas. Wandell Robinson, Kentucky wide receiver. He finished as wide receiver 14 last year. Folks, we
14.
have a value alert here with Mr. Wandell, projected as wide receiver 43. You guys, 2026, he has just been reunited with
There you go.
his
There you go.
coach, Brian Dable, right? Where he spent the majority of his time. They were both in New York, of course. So they have the same offense and a long-standing relationship there. And, he outperformed there most of the time in the slot. He'll be in the slot again. He is the slot guy. He's a great weapon, and he's got great value in PPR. Last year, he had 140 targets. Yes, it was in New York. Yes, the number
No
one
Malik.
receiver did go down.
Yep.
Yes, but this guy still is a target monster. In PPR, there's some value here for sure.
Yeah, I like everything you just said. Sorry, keep going.
They got him spec'd out for 116 targets, 79 grabs, 800 yards. Last year, he did just go over 1,000 yards, and they're light, only 2 touchdowns. So, I could see repeating a performance from last year and being somewhere around a wide receiver 20 again and being value. But we don't know how the rest of this crew is going to shake out, and we'll kind of jump into that. But right now, I think I would prefer to draft him at ADP above the sexy rookie pick.
I agree with you 100%. And I don't have much to argue with what you said about Wandell there, really. The dude's good. I think he's going to be the number one on this team this year, kind of like you. It's a great value alert. And I like that. I don't know. You touched on that pretty good.
Okay, why don't you talk about the next guy? The
Carnell Tate, the rookie pick from this year out of the Ohio State. That pains me being from Wisconsin, but nonetheless, I said it. He is projected wide receiver number 26. Okay, I'll say that again, 26. We just told you that Wandell Robinson's going 43rd, a proven wide receiver with proven ability in this league. The fact that Tate's going 17 in front of him in projections, I do not like that. Redraft, he is going too high for what I've seen with rookie wide receivers, especially tall ones that play on the outside. You deal with better DBs, tougher routes to run. There are 3 guys projected after Tate that I like more, including Marvin Harrison Jr., Cortland Sutton, and Pittman Jr., who just went to the Steelers. So they're too high on Tate for redraft, of course, but for dynasty, of course, Tate. But anything redraft too high for me. I will not probably have any shares of him this year. I would like to have him next year, though.
Okay. Yeah, the rookies, obviously, they're the big gamble, and there's just a lot of moving pieces here. And, I can't buy this price for a number of reasons. It's a rookie transferring in. Sure, he was the number one receiver, overall projected out of this year's draft.
Yep.
Great college career. But, a lot of that does remind me when Marvin Harrison Jr. was brought into the league in his first couple of years of underperformance.
Overhyped.
And
Overhyped.
Sometimes these high, drafted receivers, they take a few years to show up in the NFL, make the adjustment. They need some time in the offense with the quarterback. So it's overhyped to me. They got him for 127 yards, 78 grabs, or just over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. But I do also like the player, and he's going after Ibuka, Waddle, and JMO for ESPN rankings. And
All
then
those should be in front of him.
before Rome, Adunes, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Marvin Harrison, Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman, Alex Pierce, DK Metcalf, and then the other rookie, Jordan Tyson.
Do you want me to touch on how many people that go after him that I would pick before him? Because there's quite a few.
I don't think we need to go that far. We think he's a little overpriced right now, and that's very common with the hype of the rookie receiver. And is there a chance that he, gets over 1,000 yards? Of course, there's a chance. I would just put it at a lower probability, and I would rather take a proven NFL wide receiver who has actually done it, right?
Christian Watson, DK Metcalf, Alec Pierce, Pittman, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, in a team that not only just had a very bad season, bad offensive line, underwent coaching changes, they brought in a defensive-minded head coach who I think is a phenomenal coach, but has yet to prove he can have a competent offense, even with some games with Aaron Rodgers. And offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, he's had, I would call it, mixed results in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball, especially.
Yeah, that's fair to say. That is fair to say. Okay, enough about ripping on Tate's overhypeness. You got anything else you want to say on him?
No.
Perfect. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, roll tide. He is rolling right off of my draft board for the rest of my life. Finished as wide receiver 117. He is projected as wide receiver 55. This cat missed 10 games last year. He's 31 years, not so young. Career low, 17 catches last year. With the youth and the spirit of this team, the direction it is headed, I see it gearing away from Calvin Ridley. I'm selling on him for the rest of time. They have 4 very good young wide receivers on this team, and I hope Calvin Ridley helps educate them, because that's where the ball is going to go, to the youth, to the speed. This guy's, he's in injury territory like he was last year. Out on Ridley, too many other young studs on this team, but I hope he helps them along the way. Shimmer and DK, one of the young studs that I love.
For Ridley, for me, it is tough. I'm kind of with you in most of the things here. It is like an enticing value player. Someone that can get over 1,000 yards. The problem is it feels a lot like Chris Godwin. Like, he's older in his career. He hasn't really done it in a while. He's been a lot of mixed performance throughout his NFL career.
Yep.
And I really don't want to mess with that, right? I'd rather take somebody else that I feel better about. Like, it's not worth the risk enough for me. Although, it does feel like there could be some sneaky value here. And maybe it is for a year, but it's not worth it for me.
I agree with you completely. And yeah, if he goes down, has any injury at all, these young guys are going to come in there, swallow up his role, and there goes his targets, there goes everything. One thing I was 2024, he did put up 1,000, and 23, he did put up over 1,000 yards in both those years. So he's 2 years removed from being very productive. I will take a small step back and give him credit there, but outside of that, everything else I said holds true. He's too old. Yeah. It's time to move on.
ESPN's got him for 94 targets, 49 catches, 769 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And maybe he does that, and maybe however that fits into your lineup or off your bench, maybe you can be happy with that performance. But I just really am failing to see the upside and allure of him at this stage in the game with the depth chart of this team, the coaches on this team, etc.
Nailed it. Honorable mentions in receiving core, Shimmer DK, who I mentioned, Alec Amanor. We'll go with that. But we are moving on to RBs. Curly fries time, folks. Tony Pollard, running back, Memphis, finished running back 23, projected running back 28 for the 2026 season. Here's one good thing I'll say about Tony Pollard. Last year, he handled 67% of the Titans' rushing attempts. Phenomenal number, right? However, when Tyjae Spears is healthy in there, he gets almost no receiving work. This offensive line is absolutely abysmal. They have not fixed that yet. They need to fix that this year and in this next year's draft in order to help this young team. And on top of that, they're going to be behind in games. They're going to need Cam Ward to chuck the ball to these young guys. They're not going to be able to hand it off all game long. They're only going to be able to hand it off for 1 or 2 quarters. I'm out on Titans running backs, not against Tony Pollard as much as what I just said.
Yeah, Tony Pollard was someone I was very high on when he was backing up Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys because the guy can ball. He's a great running back, and when he given the opportunities, he always outperformed. He is just unfortunately now at the running back age cliff of 29 years old. and he's in a shared committee. They have a rookie that they drafted in Nick Singleton, as well as having Tajay Spears do most of the receiving work, and in a team that's a bad offensive line. With all of those things, I'm not overly excited about it. If you 100% go zero RB in your draft, he's a guy you probably could grab just to have some points from the running back position on your team.
Yep, just to have a starting running back. Yep, I like that.
Yep, he eclipsed just over 1,000 yards last year, 4.5 yards carry, 5 touchdowns, and they basically have him for an exact repeat of the same performance as last year. To me, the upside is the new coaches and a better offensive line, and maybe he does outperform or repeat. The downside is they did bring in a rookie, and I could see someone at 29 years old as a running back losing some reps to the younger players toward the end of the season when you need them the most.
That is well said. Is there anyone going after him that you like more? And those names are Aaron Jones Sr., Jaylen Warren, Rhamondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, 4 spots behind Pollard. I'll cut it there.
I think
J.K. Dobbins, 7 spots? Okay, we got some issues there, ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, I could say a lot of the same stuff about Aaron Jones, honestly.
Sure.
Jaylen Warren is struggle for me to draft here. Stevenson, I had some shares last year, and I could never just get him in my lineup and feel good about it. Even in the flex spot, it wasn't good enough for me. Rico Dowdle is the one where I do see a chance at more upside and outperformance here, so I like him probably a little better. Kenny Gainwell is interesting. If Bucky returns to form, I think you'll be
we already talked about that. Screw you, Kenny.
Screw you, Kenny, in a PPR deep league format. If Bucky does not return to form, I think Kenny Gainwell could be value.
That's true.
Rachaad White, there is a lot of running backs in Washington. It's tough to want to get behind him at 27 years old with that depth chart as well. J.K. Dobbins, yeah, I would put J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard much closer together here.
Okay, cool.
So that's the rundown of what's after him. The guys before him, I would probably all take before him.
Yeah, there is no question about that. I saw that as well. Okay, so the number 2 running back in this backfield, Tajay Spears, running back out of Tulane University, finishes running back 44, projected running back 53rd. This is solely and only a deep formatted PPR play. He should not be drafted or thought of in any standard league. He's going to be into his 4th season. Quite frankly, he doesn't get a lot of rushing attempts, and he's very effective as a receiving running back, which I like for this offense a little bit because they're going to be throwing him more. In 2023 and 2025, he was top 10 among running backs in catches. So totally receiving guy, totally PPR, and even then, super deep play, not someone you're going to want in your starting lineup much at all.
Yeah, I mean, he is deep league PPR value only. I don't even think he's got any kind of like handicap upside. I think the rookie Nick Singleton has a better chance of gaining more work than Tajay. Even when Tajay's been more of the bell cow, it hasn't equated to any sort of production for him. Last year, only averaged 3.9 yards a carry when he rushed. He did grab 45 catches. ESPN's got him for 50 grabs this year, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. That's where his value is going to be. So basically, if he comes off your bench in a deep league for a bye week fill-in in the flex, you hope he gets 7 grabs and falls into the end zone.
Okay. Anything else on the RBs?
Yeah, let's touch on Nick Singleton. He was drafted in the 5th round. He's one of the better size and speed backs coming out of this year's draft. And, he has a good chance to emerge, I think, later in the season somewhere in this committee. ESPN's only got him for 20 carries, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Singleton's our first 2027 alert. Once Pollard finishes off this year and goes into retirement, Singleton could then come in next year and emerge.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone for me. I was in dynasty formats. He was on my radar to draft in the 2nd round of the rookies. But one of the other guys was, I think I took Jonah Coleman over him. And that was something I debated long and hard about. I just like to fit a little bit better in a better offense in Denver and landing spot for Jonah Coleman. But this guy was next on my list for Dynasty. And, I would say you're probably not going to be on anybody's redraft radar right now. But dynasty you could watch. If he gets in and whenever he gets work, if he gets work and he looks good and efficient, he could be someone you try and buy low.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Done with the RBs. We are moving on to the tightest of ends. This is actually an interesting situation over here in Nashville. Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas, finished tight end 31, projected tight end 24th. Last year was his rookie campaign. He quietly caught 44 passes during his rookie season, which, believe it or not, was among 11th among tight ends over the past decade. Okay, but here's the real kicker for this guy in Helm. There is no more Chig Onungwa. Sorry for butchering your name there, Chick, but I did. There you go. Chig. Jesus Christ. English boys. He's gone. And he had like 80% of the tight end targets last year. He's out the picture. There's a lot of wide receiver weapons here, but if you need a deep sleeper alert at the tight end position, put this guy on your radar because there is no competition. He has the ability. He's just not very flashy. So this is something where, you go zero tight end and you need to plug and play someone as time goes on, pick him up or keep him watched closely.
Yeah, I agree. He's a deep sleeper candidate. Most leagues, he'll be probably undrafted. And I think if you punt the tight end position, I think you want to watch him close first couple games this season to see how much he gets targeted and how much he's involved. The guy's got some good hands, and they felt good about letting Chig Okonkwo go. So it's kind of the opportunity alert here for this guy. Yep. And I think he has the tools to succeed, but it's just at what level?
Yeah, absolutely. Nashville or Titans go up against a terrible defense. Might be someone you can put in on those weeks, something along those lines.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a potential bye week filling guy, pending league size, right? That's kind of how I would see him. Unless he outperforms. There's a chance here that he does outperform and becomes fantasy relevant this year. I mean, there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yep. Saying there's a chance.
Done with the fantasy players. We are moving on to the offensive line. And folks, we do not sugarcoat things here on the Fantasy Football Channel. The offensive line effing sucks. Okay, it's bad. They allowed 55 effing sacks to the brand new beautiful Cam Ward last year. That's not good enough. And even worse, they didn't really fix it. He's on my dynasty team. I can call my dynasty players beautiful if I want to. Okay, they did not get much help from the draft. They got guard Fernando Carmona in the 5th and center Pat Coogan in the 6th. Mike Clay has this offensive line ranked 29th. They released center Lloyd Cushenberry, and they signed center Austin Schlottman. And I told you they drafted those two rookies in the 5th and 6th. Let's face facts here. That's not good enough. This line was terrible. They needed some serious improvement. They didn't improve it. What they did improve was their weapons. So this year in free agency and in next year's draft, they stabilized this offensive line. You are looking at a healthy Titans offense in 2027. The only other thing I say, Kyle mentioned Brian DeBall, new coach, and also a new offensive line coach, and Carmen Brasillo to help stabilize this unit, but not good. And that also has a serious impact on these running backs and why we kind of sold them.
Yeah. Coaching. Well, he's going to get another shot. Robert Saleh, head coach, after his, I guess we'll call it, failed attempt with the Jets. How much of that you want to put on him versus the organization? I still think he's a decent head coach. I think he's a great defensive-minded coach. Offense, he's going to leave a little bit to be desired here, and that's why they also brought in Brian Daboll, formerly the Giants head coach, will now be the offensive coordinator. A little bit about him. Obviously, championship resume, winning 5 Super Bowls with the Patriots and a national championship with Alabama. And, of course, the time with the Giants that I would call mixed. I didn't really like what I saw from him from a head coaching standpoint. So I think an offensive coordinator role does make sense. Mm-hmm. He is obviously no Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. He's got a bit of a different system. Mostly some pre-snap freedom and like 11 personnel where they're running a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, which makes sense why this depth chart is deep with receivers and only 1 tight end. And then we'll see how much blocking and that becomes a part of it. I think Robert Saleh would love to have a, more physical running attack to pair with a great defense.
But that's not how they built this team, whether he wants it that way or not. I mean, Saleh should not be the head coach of any team. He should be the defensive coordinator, and he's top 5 at that. And the ball should be the offensive coordinator. They should have gotten a true head coach in here That's just my take on it. We've seen, like you said,
Well,
Salah's great at defense, but I do not want him as a head coach of my team because you need to be aware of the offense, and quite frankly, he's not, and it's just not
I
his
think
strength.
we're going to pretty quickly see how much of the Jets organization was more of an organizational component. Problem with the Jets too is they had
They still don't have a quarterback.
Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator, and that was bad.
That was for
So I
Rodgers.
think
That was for
yes,
Rodgers.
yes. What I'm saying is when Robert Saleh was there, it was not a great situation, especially when Rodgers got hurt. But even when Rodgers played the following season, it only lasted however many games till Robert Saleh got the axe. So
They had
not
to
enough.
blame a scapegoat. They had to blame someone on that scapegoat, and it shouldn't have been Salah because it wasn't his fault. But he sucks with offense. Period. So
Yeah, I mean, that's why they brought in both these guys, right?
Yep.
One to be the head coach to make that step, and then also a guy that can run the offense. Who was both also former two head coaches. So a big coaching overhaul here for this team, and the draft, the players that they're taking. They're really trying to make a big push for that 2027 stadium to make this team relevant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess there's really not a lot of great head coaches out there
Yeah, I think if anybody deserved a second chance at being a head coach, I would say Robert Saleh probably one of them.
Fair enough.
The Jets organization is tough for anybody probably to do well. And he was put in a tough situation. I'm not going to obviously make any excuses for him.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it was what it was, right? So
if you want to make an excuse for him, Aaron Glenn didn't do any better last year. So there's your excuse for him.
It's a tough organization. Yeah. And they keep bringing in defensive-minded head coaches when they have offensive issues constantly.
I know. It is.
So, anyways, that's something else. But we'll see how these two work together, how this shakes out. It's a lot of, nice football minds on the coaching staff, a lot of young talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in a year or two, you're probably looking at a different squad. This year, I still am hard to expect
more year.
A lot.
Tank one more year.
We'll see if they can do anything with the offensive line. I'm actually expecting a good defense just because that's what Robert Saleh always does.
Yeah, I say tank, go tackle and guard first, second round of last year, and you got yourself a new offense that's ready to rip 2027.
All right, any final fantasy notes? We weirdly like the slot receiver best on this team for fantasy. Potential sleeper candidate at the tight end position, and running backs are meh. And quarterback, maybe a little bit of upside. Maybe a sophomore pump. Depends how it plays out, but something you can't get too high on for one quarterback leagues is probably how I would say it.
We had a sophomore pump for this cat. We were weirdly aligned on this episode. We'll have to change that for the next one.
Okay, we'll have to fight each other on every single player next episode.
Sold.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in the Fantasy Football Channel. We'll catch you on the next one.